I'm Pat Callanan and welcome to the Super Cheap Auto Bushmechanic Challenge, where we take two four-wheel drives that we buy for just $2 each into the bush on a 7-day torture test. But this time, it's a little bit different. We're heading deep into the outback, so if anything goes wrong with these vehicles, it's going to be up to the Bushmechanics to keep them running, because if they can't, they're going to be in big strife. And what are we doing this for? Well, for the grand prize. We like to call it the Mankey Manifold. Come on, I'll show you my truck. Well, the only reason I bought this truck is because I found out it had an MP3 player with its own remote control. How good is that? No, just kidding. The real reason I bought this truck is under the bonnet here. It's running the 4JB1T engine, which is a 2.8 litre direct injected turbo diesel Dom. And they're really well known for their reliability. They'll comfortably do 500,000 Ks if they're cared for. Has this been cared for? Well, I certainly don't know because I wasn't the previous owner, but I think it's looking all right. A few serious oil leaks there, but hey, that's what we came to Super Cheap for.
Well, after that last Bushmechanic challenge, I knew what I wanted. I wanted something big. I wanted something powerful. I wanted something comfortable. Most of all, I wanted something I could afford. So this is what I got. Well, here's my bomb, a mighty 1991 NG Pajero V6. The amazing thing is that in its day this was a very comfortable vehicle. It still is. It's got the air leveler seats and all that sort of stuff. V6 motor. It's got about 270,000 Ks on. A few tickety-tick noises and whatnot. Automatic, lovely. Electric everything. Some of it works. They reckon you can tell a lot about a vehicle by the kind of stuff you find in it when you're having a good look through. Well, this is what I found under the back seat. Britney Spears tape, a little bit of lingerie, something smelly and some lube. I'm worried about this vehicle, but hey, I might get good dreams if I sleep in it, you never know. Right, all I need to do now is get into Super Cheap before Pat and see if I can get the pick of the best stuff.
These things are in reasonably good condition. Just general wear and tear though. Check this out. A lot of movement in them. Oh, I've just knocked myself out there.
There's oil all over the thing, and wherever we park it, you know, within minutes there's a bit of an egg cup's worth of oil. There's not a lot we can do about that. That's okay. I'm going to stick pen right in. It's nice and thick. It's got less chance of coming out, and it'll keep the engine lubricated. That explains why there's no belt on the air compressor. It'd be way too slippery down that end of the motor to do any good. Another problem up the front here's a bit of a crack in the lower radiator tube right at the bottom there. That looks like a job for Chemi Weld or something for the time being, although I'll be sure to carry lots of chewing gum with me. Come on up the back, I've got to show you something really horrible. And look at these torsion bar rubbers. It's the same on both sides. This one's actually better than the other one. There's heaps of play. There's nothing I can do to get it out really, short of changing everything. We're not going to do that. And the rear retaining rod that sort of holds the axle in place. This one, that one on that side, and the one running diagonal are what's holding the axle in place, which is why when you back off on this thing, she takes a little bit of a skip to one side, and when you plant it, it skips the other side. Whole back axle's moving around. That's all right, we'll get away with it. It'll be okay.
Well, the back end of the Isuzu, it's pretty good. Tail shafts are nice and tight, uni joints are great. But up the front, she's a different story. It's dead set oily heaven up here. And most of it seems to be coming from around the base of the filter. So fingers crossed that's all it is. But I mean, there's so much oil here, we're never really going to know where the hell it's coming from. Well, that's the last of the servicing there done, folks. Now it's time for me to wash up and we'll get on the highway and catch up with the other guys. Naturally, we've got a great team on this adventure, including Off-Road Images boss Michael Ellum, who's capturing every moment for Australian 4-Wheel Drive Monthly. Mark Lowry from ARB has joined us again, and he's brought along a few new goodies for us to play with. Johnny Vezos from Track About Off-Road Campers will show us around his Safari camper trailer. And Brad Smith, Stuart Anderson and Mick Schmidt from Mickey Thompson have brought their Nissan recovery truck along for the ride. We jumped on the Great Western Highway and drove through Nyngan and Burke before heading north at Wilcannia.
I'll just turn my stereo down with my flash little remote control. I tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun in this little Holden Jackeroo. It's a great little tourer, fairly comfortable, although the ride from the back end, she's a bit jiggly, but we knew that before we headed out. But the surprising thing is this car is so frugal, only using about 9 to 10 litres per 100 kilometres.
We've done about 1,000 k's now since picking up these trucks, and the Pajero is just doing better all the time. I've been running it on Vortex and premium fuel whenever I can get it. A good dose of flash lube, that really has sorted out the injectors. The Penrite, of course, has taken all the gunk out of those noisy lifters and lubed the motor up beautifully, so it's not making it's actually a lot quieter now. It's beautiful.
We actually worked out back at Cobar that Pajero was costing it about $35 more to fill the tank than the Jackeroo, so I'm pretty happy about that. And because we put that diesel fuel conditioner in, she's running a lot cleaner and actually feels to have a lot more power too. It's dead set clean, the injectors, and it's blowing less smoke, going like a dead set trooper.
You know, she moves around a bit on the road with that loose suspension and whatnot, but by crikey, this thing's just humming along.
What's happening here?
We bogged. Done well. Straight in on hard tyres last night. Straight into it. Just drop the tyres down. This new deflator's a beauty. Just lets the air out quick as. £16 in the tyres. Drove straight out. Too good.
Roothy isn't the only old ruin on this trip, as Jeff Smith from Cootawandi Station shows us.
People living here then.
And you were saying before that when your old man was here, they had a pretty serious flood come through.
Yeah, in 1956, the flood waters went through to the top of the fridge, just underneath the doorway, so he decided to move up on top of the hill.
Fair enough, sir. Tell you what folks, this Cootawandi property, it is something special, but we haven't even seen half of it yet. We're going to head over to the Cootawandi range tonight and set up camp. So have a look at this now. It's just literally folding right over this rock here. There's going to be no stopping this Jackeroo, folks. Oh, here we are on our first competitive stage of the Super Cheap Auto Bushmechanic Challenge, and we're going to be driving over the top of these big hairy buggers. I hope we don't kill our trucks on the first stage.
bumpy ride, this one. Oh, ooh. Oh, crunch! I can smell some diesel under here. Yep, sure enough, she's pouring into it.
Alright, well let's get it up on a rock then.
Yeah.
Okay, just come in slow, Pat. Okay, keep coming. Keep coming. Whoa, beautiful. That'll do us. I'll go and get the other bomb. Well, they were big rocks, but they're pretty soft and they roll around fairly well. I mean, as far as rocks go, they're not too bad. They're light. I went through first, so I reckon I sort of cleaned it up a bit for Pat, but he still managed to hang up and puncture that tank, so I reckon I might just sneak off for a cup of tea or maybe one of those green cans. See you later.
It's just in the front right hand corner, and it's just seeping out the fuel. It's probably dropped to a fairly low level. We mustn't have a lot of fuel in here now if it's not absolutely pouring out, but I think if we get our little super cheap box of tricks, we'll be sweet.
Well, we've got our magic putty here, and that's going to sort us out. That we used that on the last trip to fix up a radiator, so it comes in very handy. I've also roughened up right around the hole here so that there's plenty of grip, I suppose, for that putty. But the trick is, a bit of a bushman's trick, is to use soap to plug the hole first, so that you just wipe a bit of soap in there and that will stop. So you need this stuff up until it's grey, and you've really got to make sure that it's nice and clean around that whole area. The whole area of the hole. So, and then just before you're about to pop it on, you spit on your hands so that the putty sticks to the tank more so than your hands. So notice it's on a much larger area than the actual hole, but the purchase around that is just going to be fantastic. I don't think we're going to have any more problems with this. That's all nice and set there now. No leaking at all. I'll tell you what, it'll take more than that to stop this little truck.
With that problem solved, we went off to discover another competitive section, this time away from the rocks.
The next competitive stage, folks, is going to be a good bit of fun. We found a nice flat clay pan, thrown out a few witches' hats, and we're going to do a little figure of 8. Let's get into it.
low man?
Well, mate, 171.7 seconds, so he's about 30 seconds slower than you were.
Yeah, I'll put that down to the mighty V6 power.
That's it.
The petrol's got you this time, mate. Or, it's got me this time, actually. But I reckon next time I'm going to take you out.
Is that right?
How much fuel did you use around there, mate, anyway?
I think I used about 20 litres, and I think I spilt another 30 by the smell of the petrol coming out of that cab.
As if we didn't need any more dirt, Mike Allen wanted a few more shots. So our support crew had a go. Only the best, most comfortable vehicle for our camera crew. They wanted to travel in style. Pity Andy the sound guy wasn't prepared for some soft sand.
Backed off. Cool.
So these guys are running £26, was that about it?
Yeah, well, that's what my ARP was.
Yes. Didn't you watch our How to 4-wheel drive DVD?
Dumping the pressure on the Hilux and the trailer, and they were on their way.
This looks delightful, Roothy.
Oh, mate, this is magnificent, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Terrific.
it's a good little run for us. Lots of deep little ravines to jump into, creek bed, more steep hills.
Yeah, it's like those places you see when you're driving along the highway. You just want to jump the fence and go and have a play,
Yes.
but now we can.
Yes.
What are we going to call it, Pat?
Ooh, how about the Crusty River run, Roothy?
Crabbing up Crusty Creek. I like it. Let's
Crusty
do it.
River's
Oh, hey, who's going to go first?
Oh, okay, mate. Ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
You're first, mate.
okay, mate. This is nothing, fellas. Just enhancing the contours of the Jackeroo. I reckon it should have come from the factory like that, don't you? The Jackeroo finally got one under the belt.
It did, eh? It's all up to the placement, isn't it? So that was fun, but crikey, I took the wrong angle there. Well, I don't know about this crabbing up the creek, mate, but you won, all right? You're the crab champion.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Well, the Jackeroo finally got up its first win. With that out of the way, we opted to take a scenic drive across the 10,000-acre Cootawandi station.
There we go, just putting the final touches to my little mascot,
Her name is Jill, folks, and I reckon every old fourby needs a good mascot. This property, Cootawundi, I tell you what, we've had some fun on it so far. It's got the lot. It's got a 1,200 foot high mountain range, dry creek beds, beautiful gum trees, some fantastic spots to camp. And every year, in October, they hold the Cliffhanger four-wheel drive event. It is a serious off-road event. It's got the lot, rocks, mud, sand, it's got the works. And when you come up to spectate, you can obviously camp on the property. So make a date in October, folks, because you certainly won't regret that.
Well, you know.
I'll tell you what, this backyard of ours we call Australia, folks, it's got some fantastic stuff. Here's one of them. This is called a leopard tree. Pretty easy to see why by looking at the bark, but the amazing thing about this tree is that this used to grow here, this same species grew here millions of years ago. Now, that's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that this whole area used to be covered with rainforest, and this tree grew nice and high in a completely different environment. It was all wet, you know, you would have seen tree ferns and everything around here. Got to get a photo of this one. These trucks have been coping with these tracks far too easily, folks. So we're going to sort that out with this next little run. Check this out. I think we might come away with a little bit of panel damage.
Poor old Roothy has got wedged between the Mises. The mighty grunt of the diesel had to help him out. Ooh, have a listen as I did a bit of damage to the front of my truck.
How fun was that, Roothy?
Oh, mate, that was awesome. I loved that. That was
I lost
terrific.
Jill, my mascot.
I saw her fly off. You give Jill a flick.
I did.
Pat and Jill went up the hill.
I think this this side's been given a bit of curry too. I don't know if I will.
Oh dear.
No.
It's a bit narrower too. It's a bit narrower than the standard Jackeroo now, I take it.
Oh dear, that's not going anywhere. Those bloody claws, mate, they ripped it up those hills.
It's amazing, isn't it, eh? Old truck, good tyres, you can go anywhere. If you give it enough berries, of course.
And how'd you go, mate? I mean, had a few little hiccups there.
It's all those berries I was giving it. I think it was hiccup. No. I mean,
What's the damage report?
well, much the same as this. She's a bit narrower. I've got 3 doors that don't open, a couple of windows that don't work. Just minor stuff, you know. But it's going like a train. It's making a few noises now, but I think they're all bushy type, springy type noises.
Not silly automatic transmission-y noises, no.
Well, it has lost the stop on the park now. Now park just sort of lets it roll down hills, making a ratchet noise.
Oh, nice.
That's all right. It's going like a train.
Let's go and find some more.
Good on you, mate.
We left Cootawandi that evening and headed to White Cliffs and a soft bed. Temperatures in White Cliffs regularly reach above 50 degrees Celsius. So what do you do to escape that heat? You go underground, of course. We're about 30 metres underground here and the temperature is a constant 22 degrees Celsius. Let's see what Roothy's up to in our room. Roothy!
Hey, mate!
Mate, you're a miner from way back. Does this look anything like your mine?
There's a couple of similarities, not much. Gee, well, you can see the strokes obviously all the way through from the jackhammers.
Yeah.
That's fairly similar. We never would have gone this high because it's too much work. You'd only go your own height in an inch, depending on the size of the level. You know what? I was just talking to Lowmount actually. The thing that is most different for me, and I really enjoyed last night. So I've never slept in an open mine. That was great. Done a lot of things in them, but never slept in one. And the thing that I noticed that's most different is the lack of noise, because when you're working in an open mine, you've got a jackhammer. Jackhammers make a lot of noise, and it's all inside this confined space. I mean, I'm still partly deaf from that. And you've got the blower. If you haven't got a blower, you've got, you know, buckets and barrows and shovels. That makes heaps of noise. But the blower sits there whistling away like a giant thing. And you can hear machinery on the surface because your machines are just up there. So I kind of associate open mines with a whole lot of dirt and a whole lot of noise. But you know what? There's one other big difference about this place.
What's that, mate?
It's got a bar. Let's go.
Okay. This place has got a lot. It's even got this sort of conference room thing in here. Keep on coming. We've got a lounge room. Lovely. Ooh, have a look in here. We're getting warm. Nice little cellar. Lovely. And we've hit pay dirt, folks. Have a look at this. We're in the underground bar. Time to go and have a coldie.
Next morning we discovered a no-go situation with the Jackeroo, and after eventually forcing the lid up, we managed to sort it out with a surprising amount of ease.
You're getting a bit of air in there.
Turned out that air was getting into the fuel system, so a few pumps on the fuel line and we were on our way.
Was there a few air bubbles there?
Yeah, definitely.
That's my
Give it a
work.
try. I'm surprised if that's all it is, but it might be.
Then we just had to get the bonnet shut.
Excellent, just like you. Let's go.
Hey, Lomi, check this out, mate.
An old hubcap, mate.
got the old Holden line on it, which is a bit different to nowadays. It's got the GMH, General Motors Holden.
Yeah, that's pretty old. That's pretty the Commodore, mate.
Found your new plate, mate.
It's better than those paper ones we've been eating off, eh?
Well, we're in the thick of the mines now, Roothy.
Yeah, too right. This is old country.
So what's the deal with this? I mean, what are the laws? Are we allowed to be here?
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, everyone's got the right to fossick. And the way it works, essentially, is that miners register in the mining lands, the lands that's registered for mines, they register a 50 metre by 50 metre plot, which they have to stake on the corners, they have to stick a datum board on it, they've got to supply a surveyed vision of that claim to the mines office, and then that's theirs. And essentially it's only theirs underground, but they don't, nobody likes you playing with their machinery, obviously on the surface. Yeah. So all this, can't see a datum pole, it's real old country. We can spec as much as we want on this.
Oh, good one. So I noticed, Roothy, there's some square holes, there's round holes. What's the deal with that?
Oh, okay, well the square holes are called coffin shafts, and they're the original ones. Up until about I don't know out here, but probably the 1960s, 70s, because that's about when the technology came through. Everyone used to dig a coffin shaft, and the reason you did that was because, if you can imagine, 6 foot by 3 foot, that's just about enough space to swing a pick and get a bucket in the other end without getting clobbered on your head. So guys would literally sink using a hand winch and hand buckets, and they just go straight down, they just drive straight down until they hit a level. That's a bit of level there, a bit of opal clay. It's pretty hard up here too. And the round holes, in the about the 70s I suppose, they came up with 3 foot drill buckets, and you can sink a hole fairly quickly, and that's how we all started prospecting then. Mike's just found this great big lump of level here. See this little bit of discoloration? Normally, that's how you find your opal. That doesn't look like it is going to be to me. It's not, but it came close. Came real close. A lot of opal you find in fossils, because opal's just glass and it's underneath the old seabed, so you can imagine the water's come through over the years, the pressure and everything else, and glass is just silica and water and pressure and heat, and so that's how it forms, and it usually forms in little cavities, shell cavities, bone cavities, stuff like that, and then if you're really lucky it's got colour in it. That's a bloody beautiful fossil. Far out. What's
Is it green that there?
Yeah, he's Lowman's found opal. There you go.
Fossilised bone, is it?
It's a fossilised, well, it would have to be either a dinosaur or a dinosaur fish, because it's Cretaceous period.
Goes right through.
There you go. Yeah, that's a nice bit of fossil. A specimen.
As Roothy prepared for his next gourmet meal, I did some, well, I suppose you'd call it some bush panel beating.
It's absolutely jammed. I think we're going to have to give it a bit of a belt. I don't think the Super Cheap boys intended us on using their tools quite like this. Tyre lever, axe. We'll see how we go. Good as new.
Not too far out of White Cliffs, we said g'day to a few not so wild desert horses.
Bush camp for the night. It's the sun's going down, it's time to cook some dinner. We've got a leg of lamb, but because we lost the spit roast the other night, we're not going to use that. We're going to debone it, do it on the barbecue in lemon. Now this is very much Queensland style. I'd like to thank my mate John for suggesting it. And seeing as we've got a Queensland theme going here, we're Stu and Mick are on the butter pumpkin, of course. Potato, turnips, we're going to do a pumpkin bake to go with our lamb, I hope. We'll see how it goes. Well, without the spit roaster, we've clipped the lamb off the bone. That's what you get when you trim lamb off a bone. I'm going to work that in a minute before we put it on the barbecue. And over here we've got our fabulous iron pot. So, what we've done, heaps of potatoes fairly finely cut and heaps of pumpkin. That can go in, guys. Start chucking that in. Put a layer of spuds in first and then just, we don't want it all in there together, sort of put it in about ½ an inch and then we're going to pour a little bit of mushroom soup over it, not too much, probably about ⅓ of a can at first. Probably spoon a little bit of cheese spread on there at that stage too. Then we'll build it up in layers like that, potato, pumpkin with our reducers, as we call them, in between. I'm cooking this because this is all we've got, but it's going to taste all right. Over here, big dob of olive oil. It should be olive oil, but we lost that, it broke. And I'm going to work the meat over with that, well and truly. That makes it nice and sticky. At this stage, soy sauce. Can cook lamb without soy sauce. But what we do. I use soy sauce on every sort of meat. As a rule, it works. It's just good stuff. Garlic in a tube. I love this stuff. Beats the heck out of crushing it up. Just put lots in. A bit more soy. A bit more margarine. Now this is the killer ingredient, the lemon. We're going to be pouring lemon on all the way through while we barbecue it on. We're going to put some on now too, just to get in there with the garlic. Alright, nice sloppy mixture, and off we go. Now you've got to knead it right in. This will be lovely. How you going, guys? Good stuff. That's the way. Now we're going to finish off the veggie bake with a layer of crushed up barbecue chips. Okay, that's going to work. We'll just crush them up inside the bag and sprinkle them all over, and then lots of slabs of cheese on top of that. So the cheese will melt, we'll get a nice, hopefully nice crusty bit on the top with a bit of luck, a bit of flavour. Look at that. Beautiful. And over here the veggie bake's ready to go. Cheese is on top. Lid on. Our magic chips are in there. This goes on the fire. Right. We've flattened out the fire. Pulled some coals over to one side. On goes the pot. That's going to need rotating occasionally because that's the hot side. And because we've got cheese on top, lots of coals on top. With our one and only cooking implement. All the rest fell out the back of the Pajero.
So Roothy, have we got a name for this one yet, mate?
No mate, I've been waiting for you to come and give me one as usual.
Well, you were telling me the other day about your Lightning Ridge days when you used to eat a few woolly pigs, I think you called them.
Right. Okay, well there's going to be a few people out there who know what a woolly pig is. Yes?
So I was thinking we could have woolly pig with veggies
in a fly-blown cheese sauce.
Okay, mate, if that's what you want, that's what we'll call it.
Excellent.
Because I got no idea what to call something with potato chips in, really. Ooh, look at that. There we go, woolly pig lamb and veggie bake straight out of the fire. That's going to taste beautiful. What do you reckon, guys? You want to eat?
Oh, yeah!
Come on then.
That is just awesome. Absolute 5-star meal.
One of your best, Roothy. Well done, mate. That lemon's actually really infused into that lamb.
Hasn't it, eh?
That's done great.
Beautiful.
Nice one.
When you're running vehicles as hard as we do, especially out in the outback, it's essential that you have good lubricants and coolants in there, which is why we went to Super Cheap and got hold of the Penrite and the Castrol. And it's essential that you check them every day too, to keep those levels right up. Now, I'd like to say that the little Pajero hasn't used any oil at all. It's been fantastic. It was using oil before, it was leaking like a sieve, but the Penrite, being a thicker oil, stiffened it up, no problem. Coolant, well, as you know, it had a couple of cracks, one in the head and one in the radiator. But this cargo seal stuff we got from Super Cheap, I put that in on day one. We haven't had a problem since. This thing's running like a rocket. I should just mention too, this little testing light I got from Super Cheap. I like it because it's not little, it's big. You can really see it and it works well. Okay, well I guess we've got a few hundred Ks to do today, so we better get into it. Oh, probably the most common screw up when you're mucking around in the bush is a flattened exhaust pipe or a missing exhaust pipe. Symptoms are the vehicle starts to run out of power and it starts to make a lot of hissing noises. The Pajero hasn't run out of power, but I know I gave it a pounding. I've just straightened one and I've heard it hissing quite a bit from the rear, so we better go and have a look at that. Well, look at that. It's folded over at the back too. Well, I guess that's not surprising given what we've been doing with it. The tow bar's bent up just as much. I'll just straighten this out. I reckon my old mate Cookie would be proud of me for that. What an exhaust pipe repair. Wherever we've gone on this trip, there's one vehicle that's just laid people out wherever we went. And that's Johnny Trackabout's F250. Now, John's raced Toyotas for years and he's always had Toyotas and stuff. This big F transplant thing, it only happened a few weeks ago, didn't it?
Yeah, bought it about a month or so ago, Roothy. I basically bought it to tow the comp truck.
Yeah.
It's the old 100 series getting a bit tired in the leg trying to pull nearly 4 tonne.
Well, this has got the 7.3 V8, hasn't it?
Yeah, got the 7.3 litre and we've got the super chip in it.
Yeah.
Gives it about another 90 odd horsepower. So.
And it's got a few other mods too, hasn't it? It's the lift kit and suspension, shockies all round.
Yep, that's
What else
right.
has it got?
Pretty much. Well, it's got the dual shocks, front and rear. We're running the Mickey Thompson Dixie Pack tyres. They're probably one of the only tyres out there with a good load and speed rating, so we chose those. Very happy.
They're the specialty fitment too, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mickey Thompson's one of the few that do that. The tray's a beauty. How are you going with that?
Yeah, pretty good. The tray's design, it's got a drop toolbox in it which slides out.
Yeah.
And we chose the double polished aluminium bars just to make it look a bit spanky.
She does look spanky. I mean, it's got LED lights all over it. The other day we had a fairly disorientated younger hippie-looking chap outside the pub. And when John pulled in, he thought Spaceship Enterprise had hit town. He was spinning around there for a while, wasn't he, looking at the stars? Now, I note you've got a fridge up the back of the tray,
Yeah.
but it looks to me as if it's been specially modified to carry another 40-litre fridge between the driver and passenger seat. Is that right, John?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're driving along and you want to have a cold drink or a sandwich or something and it's all there at your
I've noticed
your
that, mate. I've
fingertips.
noticed both fridges chock-a-block with bananas and apples and oranges. Yes, I've noticed that. She's a beaut truck. I tell you what, there's nothing quite like the sound of a really big block V8 diesel going past. It's lovely. And talking about that, I suppose we better hit the road, eh?
I think we should.
Good on you, mate.
Well, I'll be honest, when we left home, I thought Roothy'd have a bit of an edge on me.
You know, he's got the big Pajero 3-litre V6 under the lid, and that thing does seriously motor. I mean, for a truck that's built in 1991, it really gets up and goes. But it's been great because, I mean, this truck's certainly been more efficient than Roothy's. But the great thing is, you know, in all the 4 sections that we've done so far, Roothy's won 2, and I've won 2. So we're locked at the moment. It seems that the little Jackeroo, the little 4-cylinder turbo diesel, just tractors around and does beautifully on the really slow stuff, and Roothy kills me in the high speed stuff. So they're pretty evenly matched so far, folks. So only one deciding event to go. Let's see who picks up the Mankey manifold.
Oh, we've got a bit of a stoppage here. The Pajero stopped and won't start again. Feels like a vapour lock or something, but we've had the cap off. Here, have a listen to this.
Have a look for the fuel return line off the...
Return over. Johnny, just hold her on the starter. Okay, thank you. This is the sort of curly one you get with more modern cars. Shows how old I am, I guess. This thing's 15 years old. But we've managed to, at this stage, eliminate a few things it isn't. It's not spark, it's got constant spark. It's not compression, it's hard enough to turn over. It's more than likely got to be something to do with the fuel system, but it feels like something weird, like a fuel solenoid that's switching off or something. It possibly might just be a blocked filter, but we've got a bit of fuel coming through, so I'm just going to slowly try and eliminate a few things. We'll try the start your bastard up the hose with a bit of distance. That'll be our next step, just see if it runs on and sucks itself free. If not, it'll be underneath and looking for the fuel filter. Here we go. Yeah, it's definitely fuel. It'll run on this. Well, we don't seem to have any power back to the fuel pump. So I'm kind of hoping that's the problem. I'm going to check this just by running neat power back off the battery. See if the fuel pump works off that. If that's the problem, then we'll look somewhere in between, or we might just hotwire it to the tail lights. We'll see how we go.
Tell you what, you wouldn't believe where we've broken down here. Check this spot out. Fantastic gibber playing out to one side. We've got this lovely little historic can here. You wouldn't want to be broken down in any other country in the world now, would you?
What's probably screwed it up is this. I don't know if you can see that, but the filter basket hasn't been working for a long time. So all the rocks and rubbish and stuff that's been shaking around in that tank for the last 15 years has been going through the pump. That's probably what's wrong with it. It's probably blocked up. Normally it's a non-serviceable item. I'm going to try a few things with it because we're not going to have much luck getting one of these out here. But normally once they're gone, which is why the older generation like me prefers carburetors. We can just strap a tin on the roof and a pipe and off you go. Bloody new computer stuff. It's only a 1 in a million chance that we might be able to clean this out, get it ticking over again. Yeah, I'll start you bastard. It's good stuff for cleaning and starting. Okay, now I can see in there the teeth on the impeller, so I'm just clicking them over a few times.
You ever used start your bastard on a fuel pump, Roothy?
No, but I have used it to start other things in the past, so it's you never know. Let's just see. Okay.
All right, Mark.
Give a mark. Look at that! Whoa! Must have been jammed with something. Righto, we'll put it back together, see if it goes.
Well done, mate. I thought you were gone. I thought I had you.
No way, mate. But you've been sabotaging me, haven't you, hey?
I wasn't climbing into your tank, mate.
Everyone clear?
All clear.
Good on you, low mount. Beautiful! See that? We're underway. Thank you.
One long and unbearably hot summer back in 1845, Captain James Sturt came to this place that he called Depot Glen. He was in search of the infamous inland sea. Of course, he never found that sea, but while he was here, camped for around about 2 months, his crew got very sick. In fact, his 2IC, James Poole, died. The grave of James Poole is actually around about 1 kilometre up the track, but while they were here, they at least had a little bit of water.
Oh, mate, diesel versus petrol. These tough little trucks are doing well, aren't they? What's that, 2 each, isn't it? 2 each?
It is, mate. So I think we need a decider. We're in Milparinka, we've made it.
I agree, yep. Well, what are we going to do? I mean, we're here.
Okay. First one, around the Milparinka racetrack and back at the pub, wins.
Oh, all right then. Perfectly good pub, though.
And we're racing in the Milparinka 1000. It's Patsky all the way. I can't see Roothy for the dust. I've given him the slip. Can't even see him in the rearview mirror. Oh, this is great. I did need the head start. I am in the diesel Jackeroo. Go, you good thing. Giddy up. Coming around the bend here. Oh, she's a nice tight one. I still can't see him in my rear views. Maybe he's just eating my dust. Ah, yeah. Where the hell did you get to?
Oh, well, you know how it is, mate. I was a bit too close to the pub. But that's all right. I reckon I won this anyway. Have a beer.
Thanks, mate. I don't think so. I think that belongs on a Jackeroo, mate.
No, it doesn't, mate. Petrol power.
Oh,
Petrol power all the way.
Gas guzzler. I tell you, we've learned a few things about our Forbies on this trip, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Once again, I'll tell you what, I am really impressed with independent front suspension, and these little trucks have done so well.
And these are the same vehicles that we've been paying out on in the magazine for the last decade or so.
Yeah, well, we all know what Pajero means, but, you know, crikey, not in this case. I tell you what, that's a tough truck. I love it, and it's comfortable too at the end of the day.
My Jackeroo too, mate. I mean, I've been absolutely impressed with that. It's got leaf springs on the back, but it still rides beautifully, and that little turbo diesel 4-cylinder donk is so fuel efficient. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the V6, smooth, powerful, it goes so well, and I mean, honestly, we could go anywhere, couldn't we? Yeah. Anywhere.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Pat Callanan, and until next time, remember, keep the shiny side up.
You fellas got any bites?
No, mate, nothing up here.
No, not a thing, mate.
Nah, I think you'd have more chance of catching cold in the doctor's surgery.
Yeah, hot enough too.
It is hot enough.
Stinking.
Dry too.
Yeah, dry.
Yeah, I'm a bit dry.
This fishing's pretty lame at Kingscliff.
Kingscliff? It's not Kingscliff, Jono, it's White Cliffs.
Oh, I thought you said we were going to Kingscliff, Roothy.
Oh, mate, it's White Cliffs. Go and get us some more beer, eh?
All right, I'll
Good
go
on
get
you,
some
mate.
beer while we're waiting for the tide to come in, eh?
Well, hang on. I think I got something.
Australia really is the greatest place on earth. And I reckon the Outback is the heart and soul of our country. There's nothing I love better than getting in Milo and driving off into the vast peace and quiet that you only get when you're right out in the bush. And the best thing is, it's just down the end of your street too. So come on, this is where you'll feel the true heartbeat of Australia. Come out here and have a look.